Marvin Gaye, Tammi Terrell. You know the names, and if you don't know the names, you know the songs. Ain't No Mountain High Enough, Your Precious Love, If I Could Build It, My Whole World Around You. You know them. We all know them. This was Marvin's most successful duet package of his career. Partly because Kim Weston and Mary Wells fucked up and left. But that left the opportunity for Tammi Terrell. And they were magic together. They were magic together. And you could hear it on the first album, United, that was released on August 29th, 1967. This album has bangers. And it was one of three that they did together. At this time, the Motown label were rolling. The Supremes, the Temptations, they had the Miracles, early success with the Four Tops. And here's Marvin Gaye firmly entrenching himself as part of that hit making, as part of the hit making roster. And this album sold either almost 1 million copies or damn near 1 million copies. You found a writing duo, a marriage couple, I guess that's how you say it, by the name of Ashford and Simpson, who wrote some really, really big records on here. They wrote Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Berry Gordy wrote You Got What It Takes. If I Could Build My Whole World Around You was written by Harry Fuqua, Johnny Bristol, Hal Davis. And just to add to that, while we're talking about those two, Berry Gordy Jr. was all of them were the producers on this album. Interestingly enough, if you listen to tracks 6 and 7, Hold On, My Darling, and The Two Can Have a Party, those were actually solo records, and they actually had Marvin dub his vocals onto it later to put on this album. But yeah, man, it seems like to me, though, that I relearn every couple of years or so that Marvin wrote If This World Were Mine. I don't know why I always forget that. I probably do this 5 years later and probably say the same damn thing. But it's a beautiful song. Luther definitely came on and redid it and just killed it. Took it to a whole other level. He just owned the fucking song. Marvin's version was really, really good, but Luther, man, there's something about Luther, and we can talk about Luther later as well. But yeah, man, this thing, I think the last thing I'll say that I noticed on here is that we're at a point where now ballads are really starting to kind of come into play a little bit more than the mid to up-tempo tracks. And keep in mind, we're 3 years from the 70s. So there were a lot of ballads, a lot of slow jams on here that typically were not pushed or were not on some of the other albums. So I thought that was interesting. And just listen to the chemistry between Marvin Gaye and Tammi Terrell. There's a lot of tea involved with them too. And we can get into that at some other point. But the reason why they make such a good partnership and the reason why he's singing the way he's singing to her and her to him, there's a reason for all of that. And we can get into that later. But United, Marvin Gaye, Tammi Terrell, we got 3 more we doing with these two. And then we're going to get into the 70s. We are on our way to 70s Marvin Gaye. We are almost there. But in the meantime, we are going to enjoy the rest of these hits. And I'll be back next time to talk about the next album that Marvin Gaye put out.